Hi and welcome to the Monday Live, and we're here on time and on the right day for this, but I'm not around so much in the rest of the week, so I'm going up to Alnwick, up to the north, the very north of England, for an event. Looking forward to that. We've got a nice full house there, should have some fun. What does that mean? Well, it means that those of you who usually watch me playing the teams, I'm doing that on Tuesday night at 7:30, and the Friday live is pre-record, as it were. I've recorded that already with some more of a nice hands, all about opening the bidding, of course, and we've still got a couple of weeks of that to go, and then we change the topic. At the moment, of course, on the site we are in Greedover, don't forget. So that means we're focused on pairs bridge and greed is good, and the parts score battle and how we get the most out of it when playing the hands. So we'll have a look at that. However, first to mention, for all of the charity exploits that we've been up to, well done. Thank you so much for your support with our fun run, cake sale and raffle. Raised over £2,000 there, isn't that good? So well done everybody there. I'll show you a few little things that you can see, a little video of Alfie if you want to. Helen's put that on the various social medias, and I think it's on our site. It's a lovely little video, seeing him go in and out of holes and all over the inflatables. There are the bakers, that's me, with Katrina, Megan and Mino there, and we baked lots of things and raised lots of money there for the cake sale. That was at Denham. We had and they all disappeared, and then we'll have our winner of the hamper next week, so we will see who has won that. So hopefully, thank you very much, as I say, if you did take part in that, and I'm sure if you didn't, you've probably taken part in all sorts of other events that bridge clubs and bridge societies, etc., had been organising over the month of September. Exciting times for bridge in a way, because it's nice to see it back at the forefront of raising money for charities. Okay, so what else have we got? We've got our usual suspects. We'll have the 5-level decision, the hangover as it were. We'll have the bidding quiz at the end, and of course the seminar in the middle. A little mention for the cruises there, the November Canaries. Of course, we go to the Canaries at various times. Lynn is heading off to the Canaries there from Liverpool, I notice, and there is a Mallorca, which we do each year. Notice Liverpool. Yeah, it's going to be interesting that, because I'm doing the first one for a long time from Liverpool next year as well. I'm going off to the Azores in July. Quite exciting. So do look out for that one, leaving from Liverpool. I used to do a few from there. It's an interesting port, and if you've got the time to go a day before, Liverpool's an amazing place to explore, I must say. Okay, let's have a look at this. There we go. So this was an interesting one, I thought. You're the opening bidder. You're vulnerable against not, but with such a good club suit, it's curving right round. That's how good it is. I think 3 clubs is a great descriptive bid. Partner, my clubs are what are in my hand. I know I'm at adverse vulnerability. Remember, we are vulnerable and the opponents are not. However, the auction takes a really strange twist. 3 spades overcall from south, 4 hearts from your partner, 4 spades. What do you think about that? And it's your bid. So it goes 3 clubs from you, 3 spades, 4 hearts, 4 spades, and it's your bid. So have a little think about that, and we will come back to that afterwards. Okay, but for now we are going to go to the seminar. Oops, and I'm sorry, that's the festive period just come up on the screen. I apologise for that. We are coming over to the seminar. There we go. Playing part scores at pairs. So if those of you been on the site will remember, possibly last year at this time in Greedover, we talked about trying to choose the best part score. And it's really tricky. Should I be in no trumps? Should I be in a parts, in a suit contract, often with only 7 cards? which is better? Sometimes the suit will win. We talked about aces. We love suit contracts for the most part. Queens and jacks and tens are great for no trumps because they make slow tricks. Okay, so see that. The bidding quiz comes at the end. The bidding quiz, I hope, if I remember rightly. Okay, so playing part scores, what are we thinking? Now, last week, you may remember that, excuse me, you may remember that we did our scoring test. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that again, but I do go back to that, and it's just knowing how to score. But it's so important in pairs because you need to understand what each score works. Now, it could be a competitive hand where minus 50s and minus 100s, or it could be you comparing with what you could have been in. So you're in one no trump, but you should have been in clubs, or you in clubs should have been in no trumps. Can you make an extra trick, and will your score be good enough? Those kind of things. So every 10 points counts. I mean, I'll put up the same traveller as we saw last week, just simply to show what can happen on a board. Here there are 3 possible contracts: spades, clubs and no trumps, all played by the same direction. Now, going off clearly is a disaster, and that happened to pair 7 and 9, but the crucial thing is comparing all of those scores, certainly from pairs 1 to 6 at least, if not pair 8 as well, because the over tricks are important, and we know that, I hope, already. But sometimes they're even more important. I mean, you know, 3 clubs making here is a sort of average score, but if you manage to make the over trick, wow, what a difference. And the same with 2 spades, sort of average score if you manage to make the over trick. You know, and let's ignore the minus 50s. You've got 7 scores there within 30 points of each other. You know, 110 4 times, 120, 130, 140. Real differences here. And so quite often, if we choose to play in a minor instead of no trumps or a major, we have to be looking for the extra trick. We have to believe that we can do it. So very often, maybe you're in the minor, you've chosen a fit in a minor instead of a partial fit in a major. But it can be very interesting to compare the number of tricks. So what are the tactics we're going to be talking about? Trump control, of course, because very often you don't have as many trumps as you'd like. You know, you're in a 4 spade contract, quite often you'll have a 9 card fit. I'm afraid in 1 spade or 2 spades, you might just have 7. In fact, we're going to see one when we only have 6. However, if you choose to draw, you know, you may well need care. And the reason generally we draw, and we saw this last week, is when you have nice cards. Okay, you've got nice cards, winners outside trumps. Your job generally is just to draw trumps. Bear in mind that sometimes you're going to need a bit of luck. It's all well and good me saying plan for a 3-2 break or a 4-2 break or instead of a 3-3 one. Sometimes you may well just need a 3-3 break, as it were. So how do you keep control? A bit of ducking, a bit of discarding. We're going to see that through today. So let's look at a first simple, not necessarily a simple example, but let's look at this and see what you think. So let's look at the auction. It goes a spade, just a normal opening bid, no trump from partner. That's important. Partner, I have not got enough to bid at the 2 level. 2 diamonds, I've got 5 and 4. Now this is the crucial element. Should West pass 1 no trump with the spite of honours, or should West bid on? I think generally with aces and kings, I think bidding on is right. Now on this particular hand, if you saw the 2 hands, you would probably opt for playing in 1 no trump. But I think it's better to bid the way you have. The only reason 1 no trump is good is because the clubs are solid. You know, if the clubs hadn't have been solid, 1 no trump may well struggle, and we're going to see a number of hands where they will. Here, you're a bit disappointed when dummy comes down in 2 spades. Okay, 2 spades, of course, false preference, going back to that major. Okay, so you've got 2 7-card suits, of course, the major is worth more, and a 5-2 fit is often more comfortable than a 4-3 fit because you've got that extra length. So you've finished in 2 spades. What you've got to be thinking, let's just see what the lead is, the Queen of Hearts. What you do have to think about at this point is how many people you think might be in no trumps. So this will often depend on the field. I think quite a few people might choose no trumps. I don't think it's the correct choice. They are making 120. You know, so can I beat them, as it were, or can I? Yeah. And what do you need to happen? And I think, to be honest, this one looks relatively straightforward. For me, this is going to be about drawing trumps. You know, so for me, you know, I'm going to win the ace of hearts, I would have thought, and duck a spade. And that's an important tactic. It just gives you a little bit more control. You don't necessarily have to do it on this hand, as it happens. But the idea of playing ace and another spade when the suit might break 5-1, by ducking, it means when you play the ace on the next round, you get to see that perhaps the suit breaks 5-1 and they don't draw all of your trumps. Because if you play the ace of spades and then another one and one of the opponents discards, they draw all of your trumps. Okay, king, queen, jack, 10, and then they take all as many hearts as they want. So that would not be desirable. So ducking a spade makes sense. But the key is, I want to draw trumps because I've got 5 club tricks. Well, assuming clubs break 4-2 or better, you've got 5 club tricks. If you don't draw trumps, they'll rough maybe the 3rd club and you never get back there because there's no entries there. Okay, so our job is to draw trumps. Okay, and you start by ducking. So a nice and straightforward hand. I don't think there's much to it. And we are going to play on trumps. So we are, I mean, if we just have let's just quickly put the auction up here so that I can quickly get us into where we want to be. And then we can just see, but there we go. And they're going to need the Queen of Hearts, of course, and we're just going to get on with it. We're just going to get on with it, win it, and duck a spade there. And now, you're going to need some luck here to equal the no trumpers. But if trumps do break 3-3 here, you're going to beat them. And that's the beauty here. So, although I think you're unlucky because no trumps is only going to be successful if you had that ace, queen, jack of clubs opposite your king. It could have been anything else. The queen, jack of clubs could have been in diamonds. And now really no trumps is struggling. Okay, because you're wide open in hearts and you've got no real prospects, as it were. Whereas clearly in a heart contract, you are available for keeping control. They can't take their hearts because you can rough. Now, what's interesting here is I am going to play ace and another spade, and I'm gambling. That's a real gambler's play. Because if I play ace and another spade here, and the suit breaks 4-2, clearly I'm exposed. But a lot of the time here, imagine South had the king and queen of spades left here, and I play another spade. What happens if he hasn't got a heart? So move the queen of spades to the south hand and throw a diamond up to the north, let's say. Okay. Yes, South can take the king and queen of spades, but he hasn't got any heart winners to play. Can you see? So I would, so I'm going to play one, and of course, so I think I've still got chances even when the spades break 4-2. But when they break 3-3, it's a wonderful feeling because I am making the rest of the tricks. Can you see that? Okay, there's nothing they can do. All those clubs are going to come in and I discard all the diamonds. Okay, so that is rather nice, and you end up with 10. So, and part of that, part of that is, so let me just go back to that. You can see the full hand there, and you're comparing the scores. Part of that is a bit of luck, but I think even if they've broken 4-2, you've got a reasonable chance, and that's because of the aces. That's what I was thinking. When you've just got aces like that, they work really well in suit contracts. So your first thought when dummy comes down is, oh no trump's going to do well. But if you can make 9 or 10, the beauty is working out no trumps can be easy, because here there's no way they can develop anything, because they've not got any control. Can you see that? So you make your 5 club tricks, assuming clubs break sensibly, and 3 aces. But beyond that, there's nowhere to go. Whereas in a spade contract, of course, they could only take 1 heart trick, and then you rough the next one. So you've got that element of control, which of course means that you do have the chance of beating them. Okay. So that's a simple hand in a way, and I like the duck first, and that is an important element of playing when you haven't got massive control in your trump suit, is to duck an early round. Very often then when you play the ace later, you can see the divide. Now here they both followed, but as I say, if one of them had a 1 and one had a 5, at least when you play the ace later you can think, oh my goodness, that's a bad break, and maybe just play your clubs off and hope. You know you're not going to beat no trumps, remember, if that's the case, but the key is at least you're going to do as well as you can. Throwing a loser instead of ruffing, a really important tactic. That's what's called a loser on a loser play. If you've only got 4 trumps, which you will on some occasions, if you ruff, you're down to 3, and very often you'll have lost control because your opponents will have more than you, and if they have more than you, you are in a really bad place. So you try to avoid that. Here's a simple hand. Very simple hand. I'm not even going to show you the auction. You can guess what's happened. I don't know what you'd have opened. I have to say I would tend to open a club here. Now the book bid is a diamond, and I think a lot of people would open a diamond here. Okay, and it's not the end of the world. I mean, on this hand I could switch the clubs and the diamonds, and you'd have opened a club and you'd have finished in one club with the same sort of situation. The only thing I would say is that a club gives the extra chance of possibly, if partner had 4 or 5 points, partner might respond 1 diamond, whereas here clearly over a diamond, even if you had 4 or 5 points, it just makes no sense to respond with the east hand. So you've opened a diamond, and that is where you finish. And, you know, you've got 20 points, but I think a diamond with a 4 for 4 one hand, it's much more sensible to open at the 1 level and just hope partner responds. Clearly here, you cannot beat anybody who's in a club contract. You know, there's no point sort of thinking, oh, I hope this happens or I hope that happens. All you can do is just make sure you make your own contract and hope that not too many people opened 1 club. Okay, because clearly if they open a club here, clubs are very nice indeed, and you're probably only going to lose, I think you may well make 11 tricks, believe it or not, in a club contract. You could take a couple of heart ruffs, and 5, 9, 10, 11, 12 on a greedy day. Yeah, my goodness me, but you're not there. Let's not think about that. Now, so what I mean by comparing is it realistic? Will you know, here there's no way. So clubs are out of my mind. If they were no trumps, I might, but no, clubs are out of my mind. I'm just making sure I make. They lead the Queen of Hearts. What are you going to do? Well, you've got plenty of tricks is the first thing. There's no point counting top tricks. I mean, unless clubs break 4-0, you've got 10 top tricks. Okay, so you've got plenty of tricks, but you know this is all about keeping control. Okay, this is all about keeping control. And the only way to keep trump control is to make sure that you have 4 diamonds in your hand. And on a reasonable day, the diamonds will break 4-3. And your Jack, Ace, King, Queen will draw them. If they don't break 4-3, I'm afraid to say you are going to struggle. But assuming they break 4-3, you can get the lead when you do and then draw trumps. So I am not going to ruff hearts. And of course, the beauty is I have some losers to discard. Those losers, of course, are not in the club suit. They are in the spade suit. So if they lead the Queen of Hearts, obviously I lose that. If they lead the King of Hearts, I throw a spade. If they throw the Ace of Hearts, I throw a spade. And at that point, East will have no trumps left. Sorry, no hearts left. So we're going to keep our diamonds intact. Okay, so I tell you what, all right, just to clarify that, I'll just put this up on the Q Plus screen. So let's just sorry, I'm going to be, so interestingly Q Plus chose to open a diamond there, which is interesting, which I think is what I would have opened as well, but we're going to pretend we've opened a diamond. Sorry, a Q Plus opened a club. So we're in 1 diamond. Let's just clarify what happens. The Queen of Hearts is led, overtaken by South, and South continues with the Ace. If I ruff with the 4 of diamonds, I lose control of the hand. If I draw 3 rounds of trumps, I mean you can do it, let's just quickly do that. If I then draw 3 rounds of trumps, I'm going to look rather silly because South is still looking at a diamond, and so we'll play the Ace, King, Queen of clubs, unblocking the 9, but South will ruff, and of course they can then take 3 heart tricks just like that. Okay, so that doesn't work. Can you see that? You have lost control. Instead, what we do, of course, is when the ace of hearts is played, we discard a spade. Okay, and if they play another heart, they don't, but if they did, we would discard it. I'll tell you what, we'll just quickly confirm that. I will take control of everybody here. Okay, I think it's reasonable to them to carry on hearts. Again, we discard. And that's the crucial play. Now, hopefully you can see now, if South plays one more heart, we can ruff in the East hand. So let's do that. If they do that, we can discard and ruff. Okay, and of course, you're hoping the trumps break 4-2, 4-3, apologies. Jack of diamonds. Don't overtake that, whatever you do. Cross over to the ace of spades. And then the ace, king, queen of diamonds. Draw the trumps. Okay, so keeping control of the hand. And as you can see there, the trumps, they did break 4 and 3. And as long as you keep 4 diamonds, you're in a safe place. If they switch to spades, as you saw Q plus do there, then we just draw the trumps. And the point is once you've drawn trumps, you've got your 10 tricks. As I say, don't forget to unblock your 9 of clubs there. If you play ace, king, and then queen of clubs, you'll find the 9 is in the way. Okay, but as the clubs break 2-2, you shouldn't have a problem there. Okay, let's look at one more hand. Okay, what do you think about this one? Once again, one spade from west, one no trump from east. Okay, so one spade, one no trump, and you chose 2 clubs. And again, I think generally that's going to be the right thing to do. Okay, so one spade, one no trump, 2 clubs from west, 2 spades from east. Okay, and I think that's a reasonable auction. Okay, so you finished in 2 spades, you get the queen of hearts lead, or you get the queen of diamonds lead. Okay, so we're going to start with the queen of hearts lead, but we're also going to have the queen of diamonds lead. Okay, so what do you think? Well, the first thing to say is that it is an ugly contract, but I think pretty much any contract is ugly. Maybe someone thought, well, you know, don't like my spades, I'll open a no trump. Well, one no trump is no nicer than spades. And what I'll say to myself here is, well, how's one no trump going to do? To be honest, I think you are only going to make 5 tricks in a no trump contract. I suppose clubs might break, but by that time, you may well have lost too many tricks anyway. Okay, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and 3 or 4 spades. So I would suggest that one no trump most of the time is going to go 2 off, and that's what's important to remember. Duplicate bridge minus 50 is better than minus 100. So I'm going to make you non-vulnerable here. So going 1 off, excuse me, is better than going 2 off. Okay, so here, classic hand. Unfortunately, when the queen of hearts is led, my ace of hearts is gone, so I've only got 1 entry back to dummy, and so I think I could ruff once, but to be honest, better than that, I would have thought, is simply just play trumps. And if you can play trumps fast enough, you may well stop them cross ruffing. If trumps are 4-2, it's a bit nasty, but you should still make your 5th trump, as it were, and 5 other top tricks. So if trumps break badly, 4-2, I think you're going to get the same score as one no trump, so that's fine anyway. But if trumps break 3-3, if you can draw trumps quick enough, you'll just go 1 off. You'll make 5 tricks and your 2 long trumps. And that again shows the power of playing in the suit contract here with your aces, etc. So again, the 2 club bid has worked here, showing the 2 suits, giving partner the choice. Partner's done the right thing, going back to your first bid suit, as it were. And I think you're in a good place here. Okay, so aim for the best you can. Play on trumps as soon as you can. I mean, I can show you that. I'm not sure we really need to see it if I put it up on the Q+. But once again, I'll just have to quickly change north and south to computers because I don't want to have to make their bids. We would open a spade. I mean, with 12 points in a 5-card suit, I'm happy to bid it. We then bid 2 clubs. And once again, North gives false preference there to your 5-card suit. Yes, there will be times you had 5-5, but in the long run, you're going to find playing in the spades. And all we're going to do is just attack trumps as soon as you win your ace and you just play a trump. Okay, you might as well try the jack. You never know with ace, king, queen, 9. And they're going to do whatever they do. So let's just see. They've decided to switch. That's fine. We just play another trump. And it's just a possibility that the trumps are 3-3, as you can see. And what that means is that we're able, you know, it seems crazy playing trumps when they're so bad. Okay. Now, we've still got a vague chance that the clubs break and they give us the chance to make them. So we would duck a club, but as you can see, the clubs won't break. And so we will only make 3 more tricks, and we end up 1 down. 2 spades minus 1 will be a good score there. Okay, it will be a good score because other people who choose, well, I've opened a spade, I'm just showing you this, the bidding again, I've opened a spade, it's got a no trump, I'll just leave partner play 1 no trump. If you're playing 1 no trump there, all you're going to do is make 5 tricks, surely. You know, you can try playing on spades, but you're gonna, you know, they're gonna not, you know, you may well lose too many. I mean, have you got enough entries even? You might do. You might just, if you play on spades, scrape there. Let's have a look. Yeah, if they play on spades rather than clubs, they might do, and that would be the best play. Here they'll make 2 hearts. Yeah, they might do. So that there's nothing we can do about that. But I think, you know, if you play on clubs, a lot of people might try that. That's no good at all. Okay, so it's an interesting hand. Okay, let's look at it the same hand though, with a different lead. Okay, so I'm suggesting that very often that's going to be the result. You're going to get a good score for going 1 off. We've had the same auction. And here's the same hand, but with a different lead. Okay, the Queen of Diamonds. How does that change things? Why would that change things? Well, the key is the reason we played our trumps out on the last one was basically because we were hoping to make 2 trump tricks by drawing all of the opponent's cards. The problem we'd have is if we tried to, if they took the 5 top tricks out, eventually right at the end of the hand, if we never draw trumps, they might be cross-ruffing and swallowing our small trumps. However, with this different lead, I think we can go about things in a different way. Because if I'm only aiming to make 2 trumps, maybe I can aim to make them by ruffing. Because remember, if trumps break 4-2, you'd only make 1 trump in the end. But if you can make them by ruffing, that's fine. So again, I think we're only going to end up with 7 tricks here. But I think 7 tricks would be rather nice if we can make it, because I'm sure that the no trumpers will have no chance here. So I think we can hopefully make 7 tricks here with the trumps breaking badly. And that's the crucial thing. Okay, so here again, it's an ugly contract, as I say. Do not worry about that. Everybody else is doing the same as you here. They're opening a spade, partner bids a no trump, and they choose between whether to show their second suit or whether just to leave it there. Okay, and the key is, I think you're in the better place, but because you've got 2 entries to dummy, remember the Queen of Hearts not 1 out. Here, I think you can use both entries to take a ruff. Okay. And if you can do that, you will make 2 extra trumps even when the trumps break badly. So this time it might be worth taking you to Q+ here. So let's again, I have to just quickly do the bidding for you though again and get us into that contract. So we do the same. We open a spade and we bid 2 clubs. And once again, partner does the right thing, giving false preference. Okay, this time all I've done is I've changed the Queen Jack of Hearts holding to a Queen Jack of Diamonds. They didn't choose a club because clubs have been bid. So we're able to win the king of diamonds, and we play the ace of diamonds off, and we use one entry to ruff a diamond, which works, and then we cross over to the ace of hearts, and we now choose to ruff a heart. Can you see that? And we have suddenly made 6 tricks there. You're sort of not going to make any more. You never know. They might give you more. I mean, you might as well play your ace of clubs and another one. And if they do the wrong thing, who knows? It might work out well. But it, you know, you'd expect them just, well, there you go. They play a diamond and they're going to make the rest. We could maybe try ruffling with the jack. You never know. But instead we will discard. But you can see what's going to happen here. They play a spade. The 10 wins and they make the king. And obviously the ace and queen. So we finish with just 7 tricks. However, again, we are happy with that. Okay, we are happy with the 7 tricks. So let me just take it back here. You know, so 2 spades minus 1. Clearly here, 1 no trump is going 2 off. You're only surely ever going to make 5 tricks in 1 no trump. So you're not always aiming to make your contract, but you're aiming to make the most of your trumps. On this occasion, with 2 entries to dummy, we could make 2 spades by using them to ruff with. On the previous hand, because the lead had been the queen of hearts, we only had 1 entry to dummy left. So it was no good pursuing ruffs, because you would have only been able to ruff once. Okay, and what would happen if you try ruffing? Sometimes if you try ruffing, you get over-ruffed, and that's a bit of a disaster. Whereas here, you know, it's a better chance, isn't it? Ruffing twice is a better chance than hoping for a 3-3 break. Remember, all you needed was diamonds to be 4-3, or hearts to be 4-3, or the doubleton in either suit to be in front of you, as it were. So they would have to ruff before you. So you've got a pretty good chance. Again, what's tricky though, what's tricky is understanding duplicate bridge, understanding greed over, as it were, and the fact that every trick counts, and the fact that why does it count? Here, minus 50 is better than minus 100. I don't think the opponents were going to get in on this hand, on those 2 last hands where they don't have a fit. I don't think they're ever going to particularly double. And so, but if they did, they probably would have been in a position to scrape home, possibly in a 1 no trump contract or something like that. So again, minus 50 is better than anything North-South can make. And it's the reason why we love our minus 50s. Okay. So understanding the scoring, have a look at last week's if you didn't see it, and try to revise the scores, I guess. Get them into your head. 2 spades, 110. 3 clubs, 110. 2 no trumps, 120. Getting to know that. Don't just rely on pressing a button. If you use a scorecard, and work out the score yourself each time, believe you me, if you do it regularly, you'll find it very, very easy after a while. It's because very few of you are making the effort to do it now, and you forgot. You'll think 1 no trump plus 1. Oh, let's look on the back of this, the bidding card. Whereas if you do it regularly, they'll all be there, and that makes a difference. Okay, let's go back to this hand then. We'd opened it 3 clubs. And it went 3 spades, 4 hearts, 4 spades. I think this is a really unusual auction, but it's easy to understand. Your 3 club bid is a strong preempt. What do I mean by that? Well, at this vulnerability, you should be showing a very respectable hand. Partner, I would expect to make at least 6 club tricks from my hand. You can rely on the quality of my suit. I'm not going to be opening 3 clubs on a rubbish club suit at this vulnerability. It goes 3 spades. What does 4 hearts mean? Well, the crucial thing at this vulnerability, whenever you are at adverse vulnerability, what we call a red light, do not bid, partner. Whenever you are vulnerable against non-vulnerable opponents, you do not sacrifice. So that partner's 4 heart bid here is an attempt to bid and make 4 hearts. Your partner is aiming for 620 points. He knows what you've got to a certain extent, but he's still prepared to go for it. It goes 4 spades from the next hand. What do you think that means? Well, I think it is North that is sacrificing. I think South should have a respectable bid. Remember, you don't preempt to preempt, so I'll expect South to have an opening hand. But I think North is looking at length in spades and a bit of distribution and thinks, look, I think 4 hearts might make. So what do you think? Now, remember, the preemptor should not bid again, but this is a very unusual auction where partner, I think, is inviting you to assess your suitability for a heart contract. And your hand is gorgeous. You have the ace king of clubs. You also have 2 card heart support, which is a lot. I know it doesn't sound a lot, but partner will expect generally a singleton from you. And you have a singleton in the opponent's suit. More likely is you'd hold a singleton heart and a doubleton spade. Whereas this looks like gold dust to me. If your partner was hoping to make 4 hearts, surely I have the best possible holding in clubs. Remember, if I had king, queen, jack to 7, it might have been completely useless to partner. He might not have ever got to it. Whereas the ace king will give him a quick discard, but you've also got the potential surely of roughing a heart. Roughing a spade, apologies. You know, maybe your partner's got a doubleton spade, he's got a good hand. I'm expecting West to have ace, king, queen, jack to 7. You know, and maybe the ace king of diamonds, a really good hand. He can't be guaranteed that 4 hearts is making, but he's hoping it does. We have the very best of everything, the top 2 clubs and a singleton spade. So I am gonna go for the game. There's your partner's hand. In fact, he has what I've just said there. Ace, king, queen, jack. I thought he might have 7 hearts, but 6 is enough. He's got 8 top tricks. I think it's a reasonable bid, isn't it? I mean, he can't, I mean, it could be horrible. It could go horribly because it could go, I could have had a doubleton spade and king, queen, jack, 10 to 7 clubs. I would still bid it with that. In which case, partner could have have no entry to our hand, could have lost a couple of spades, a club and a diamond. But I think it's, you know, a reasonable chance. Because what his 4 heart bid says is, I believe I can make 4 hearts. And of course, as I say, we put down an absolutely gorgeous hand for him. Are you going to make? I mean, it's hard. They would need to find a trump lead. Will they find it? Again, against best opponents, they may well do. And if they do, you know, that's hard. You know, so a heart lead will scupper you. Maybe you've got the chance you were hoping of a sort of partner might have, you know, partner might have a doubleton club and the clubs might make. But there's no doubt on a trump lead, they can take you down in 5 hearts. But I think I'm going to go with the odds of 5. I mean, I think if you bid 5 hearts, they might even bid to 5 spades. I think that's your best bid here, 5 hearts. It's interesting though, isn't it? Yeah, club lead's not nice either. So you'd win the club, play a spade. I don't know. I think I must have. This is definitely not set up by me. I've given your opponent some nasty holdings for you. I think you're a little bit unlucky here. So the clubs break more normally. You know, so 5 hearts might struggle. But I'm bidding 5 hearts. So apologies for that. The club distribution makes 5 hearts very tricky. Which is not quite what I had assumed would happen. But a club lead is, I think, completely unlikely here. I would have thought the Queen of Spades was the normal lead. They might then overtake and switch to a club, though I can see that. They might overtake and switch to a club, but then, of course, you might manage to get 2 spade ruffs. So you'd still escape. So it requires, I think, Queen of Spades in a trump. I mean, if the opponents get you down here, I think you're really unlucky. You know, well done if they've led a trump, because I think 5 hearts is to play. It's not, I don't think it's going to be doubled particularly. And so there's no particular reason for North to lead the trump. Does that make sense? So, I mean, let's just see what the computer makes of it. I'm going to bid 5 hearts and see if what they choose to do. And actually North bid 5 spades, which is interesting, isn't it? At this vulnerability, North believes that most likely 5 hearts is making, and he's gone for that. I'm not sure I like that. I'm not sure I like that. So it turns out that whether it's right or wrong to bid 5 hearts, the opponents have bid on anyway. You know, and how's 5 spades going to do? Well, I think it's going to do okay, is it? Again, a trump lead might not make it ideal. I think they'll get a heart off. I don't know. There you go. I think Declarer can maybe play on diamonds. Maybe Declarer can play on diamonds on a heart lead, so on a trump lead. So 6. Remember, if he makes 8 tricks, which he can do here, I'm running on to. If he makes 8 tricks, that's better than 5 hearts making, and I think he's likely to make 8 tricks here most of the time. On a trump lead, you'd play a queen of diamonds, another trump, jack of diamonds, and then he's established the diamonds there. So I think, you know, I think you're going to do okay in 5 spades going 3 off, probably for 500. Oh yeah, sorry, 5 spades will be doubled, but 5 spades will be doubled, undoubtedly be doubled, but it will still only give 500. So if 5 hearts makes, it would be a good sacrifice there. I mean, that's really hard. It's interesting. You know, so what's interesting is 5 hearts can be beaten there. So is it the right bid? I think it is. I think most of the time it'll make, and another half of the time the opponents might bid to 5 spades. So I think it's you know, also the hearts might break more normally, 3-2, and the clubs will break more normally, so it really will be a very good contract. And as I say, partner could easily add a 7th heart there as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. An interesting set of bids. Let's just quickly show you the bidding quiz here to finish up. We've been on this theme for some time, and I think this is some of these are quite tricky, aren't they? So this is looking a bit like a 5-level decision. A diamond from West, that's you. You've opened 1 diamond, 3 club weak jump over, double for takeout from partner, 4 clubs. So that's quite tricky, isn't it? 1 diamond, jump to 3 clubs, double, 4 clubs, and it's West's bid. So you've opened the bidding 1 diamond, and you've got to work out your next bid. Nobody's vulnerable. I think that's a sort of good luck one, isn't it? You know, because that's quite tricky. So remember, you can get the answer online whether we're a member or not. So I hope you enjoyed that. Greed Over is all about making more and more. Not easy part score hands. One of the fascinations of bridge. There's so many aspects of bridge that we don't get taught much about. And part score suit contracts are unusual. I mean, you'll have noticed that in the past I've done specific seminars on playing 1 no trump and defending 1 no trump. And the reason again is because we tend to be taught about 3 no trumps because it's much more precise, or 4 hearts because it's much more precise. These part score hands are tricky. What I'm trying to make you do is try to make as many tricks as possible as well, but also be aware of what a good score is, and that requires you to do your homework with those scoring tables. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. Remember, Tuesday night for the teams this week, Friday is a pre-record, and I will see hopefully some of you up in the north in Alnwick. Thanks very much.